Okay. In the name of Lord Jesus Christ, we shall continue our study upon the characters in the book of Judges. We spent 3 hours talking about Deborah, and start from today, the plan is to spend the next 3 to 4, today and tomorrow. Okay, so for today and tomorrow, we will have 4 sections in the characters in the book of Judges. So at this very moment, I am not sure if we will be able to finish everything in 3 sections, or we might extend it to the 4th section. But we will see what happens. So from today until tomorrow, we are going to touch upon the next character, the next judge. His name is Gideon. Gideon is one of the longest, or out of all the 12 judges, except Samson, okay, that someone that we will talk at the end of this entire series of Judges. That will be the last character that we touch upon. But in the book of Judges, except Samson, Gideon has the longest chapter, the longest description to the detail of his life. Okay? So Samson, he got the most in terms of the content or recording. Samson got the most. However, it's a story of defeat and failure. Under the contrary, that Gideon, he got the second largest amount of description in the Bible, and mostly serve for you and I as a good learning example. Okay, so let's turn to the book of Judges, chapter 6. Judges chapter 6. Do I need to ask you one more time that have you read it? Okay, this is just a reminder. I hope that I would not have to continuously remind that you need to read. Okay, Judges chapter 6, verse 1. Then the children of Israel did evil in the sight of the Lord. So the Lord delivered them into the hand of Midian for 7 years. Verse 2. And then the hand of Midian prevailed against Israel. Because of the Midianite, the children of Israel made for themselves the dens, the cave, and the stronghold, which are in the mountains. So it was, whenever Israel had sold, Midianites would come up, and Amalekite and the people of the east would come up against them. Verse 4. Then they would encamp against them and destroy the produce of the land, of the earth, as far as Gaza, and leave no sustenance for Israel, neither sheep, nor ox, nor donkey. Verse 5. For they would come up with their livestock and their tent, coming in as numerous as locusts. Both they and their camel were without number, and they would enter the land to destroy it. Verse 6. So Israel was greatly impoverished because of the Midianite, and the children of Israel cried out to the Lord. Okay? So again, the circle, as we mentioned it earlier, this cycle, the circle of devastation being pushed and rotate again. After the time of Deborah, they were able to defeat Jabin, the king of Canaan. So as the circle rotates, now from disaster to crying, from crying to deliverance, from deliverance in peace, now again they do evil in the eyes of the Lord. This is like an unbreakable cycle that brought nothing but desperation and misery unto their life. If you do not break this cycle of sin in your life, you tolerate it, you live with it, you finding excuse for yourself to cohabit with the cycle of sin. The ending of you is nothing but like that 450 years of cycle of misery. Okay? So then here, one more time, again, when peaceful upon them, that they drift away from the way of the Lord, and then they did evil in the eyes of the Lord. So because of that, the arm of protection, the protection of the Lord has been removed, and the enemy came and trashed them on the floor again. And then here we see that the Midianites, okay, the Midianites came, they suppressed the Israelites. And as the consequence, that the Israelites dug themselves dens, cave, and stronghold in the mountain. You have to remember one thing. They were supposed to be the owner of this land, of this promised land. Okay? So, this is Jordan River. Egypt is in here. Okay? So, this promised land that flow with milk and honey, supposedly to be a great blessing from the Lord. However, after the time of Joshua, this is Philistine, no? You know, the Philistine is actually mingled with the land of Canaan. Okay? So, this is supposed to be a land of the land of prosperity, the land that flows with milk and honey, the land that the forefather received as a promise of the Lord. However, you see that from the book of Judges, this land, instead of a land of blessing, turned into a land of misery for the Israelites. The location of this part is very unique. The location of the promised land is very unique because it was known, or it is known, as the belly button of the world. If you want to talk about the center of this world, or the center of, like the center of all our earth, it's right here. That's why it's called the belly button of the world. This is the land that connects Asia, Europe, and also Africa. Okay? So in the old days, if you're a merchant or a traveler, whether you go to the northwest, to the east, or to the south, you know what? In the ancient time, nowadays when you think about Africa, you might feel that's who wants to go there, like very underdeveloped, very uncivilized, this and that. Okay, but you have to remember, in the old days, Africa is not any less or any way behind other continents. It's not. They're actually pretty powerful. You have to remember, one of the superpower in the ancient days is Egypt. Okay? Negev is also very powerful. You have to remember, in the old days, when the military is without technology, it's more about the soldiers' physical strength. Africans, they are taking a huge advantage in terms of the physical strength. Okay? So what I'm trying to say is, this is, when you talk about Africa in the old days, this is a land also with very fertile, powerful. Okay? So when we are talking about the land of Canaan, this is called the land of warfare. 叫百战之地. I don't know do you have that in English? is the land that connects all the major locations, which means that everybody need to go through here. And since it's the key military position, okay, any empire, if you want to control your territory or extend your territory beyond certain region, you have to take control of this area. So consequentially, since the Lord placed the Israelites in the land of Canaan, there are only two results. The stronger become stronger. The weaker get destroyed. Okay? Why? Because everybody wants a piece of this place. You don't want this key location to be controlled by your enemy, would you? Right? If you are in here and knowing that Egypt can easily pass this area and attack you, or either merchants or militaries, this becomes the key that connects three major locations, three major continents. Okay? So, if you are the owner or the ruler of this land, either you become powerful or you are wiped out. If you are powerful enough that nobody can take you down, then everybody needs to pay tribute to you. That's what happened in time of David. That's what happened. That's why although the Bible describes all the Arabic countries, they need to pay tribute and submit under the power of David. Not only because of his military strength, but also because of his key location. Without David not, and say, yes, there's nothing you can do. The merchant will never pass by this region and get to Egypt. You can never do business with Egypt without David say, okay. Same thing if you want to go to the north. Without David not, you go nowhere. So, one hand, because of the military strength of David. Second, because of the key location. David's kingdom only gets stronger and stronger, become a superpower in this region. Okay? But however, if you are not strong, like what happened after David and after Solomon, because the kingdom divided, the military strength and the control of the dominion gets weakened, now everybody wants a piece of them. That's why you see that in the history of Israel is always warfare. Did you realize that in that hundreds of, only a few hundred, in that few hundred years in the history of Israel is always in war because everybody wants a bite of this place. Too important. Okay? So in this promised land that the Lord promised you, the Lord granted to you, there are only two consequences. There are only two consequences that for you to be in the promised land. Either you become stronger and stronger and stronger, or Satan eye on you and he wants to destroy you. That's the only two consequences. If you are not a TJC member, you are not on this promised land. You know what? You live your life, you continue. Why? Satan won't bother with you. You belong to him anyway. But you are in here. You are in this special land, a land with hope, a land with promise. Either through warfare, fighting the spiritual battle for you to become stronger and stronger, or you are wiped out and annihilated by your enemy. Okay? So, this is some of the background of the land of Canaan. And now, as they sing again, okay? In chapter 6, verse 1 says that they sing again. So the Midianites came, the eastern people came, because everybody wants control. They want to control this region. All right? So, as the leader, as the owner, as the ruler of this land, the land of promise, as the, supposedly as the ruler of this region, from chapter 6, we see that the result is that they need to made dens, caves, and strongholds. But strongholds in where? Mountains. Okay. So number one, we see that they did evil. They did evil, so they are losing control, lost the peace. Lost the peace, lost the blessing. They did evil. Consequentially, they need to make den, cave, and stronghold in the mountain. Here is the key word, in the mountain. In the mountain means that they are yielding. They yield the control of the land. They are no longer in control of the land. So they have to hide like rats, either in the dens, in the caves, or in the stronghold, in the mountains. Why do I mention this point? Because this is what happened when you yield your ground. You take one step back. You compromise. It will only lead to second, the third, and the fourth steps. Sometimes when we encounter struggles in our spiritual battle, we try to convince ourselves it's okay. God knows I am weak. It's okay. I will yield just a little bit. It's okay. Compromise is not so bad. You know what the problem is? When you make one step back and retrieve, you will take the second, the third, the fourth, until you end up in the mountain. So, standing firm in your ground, determining not to yield your position, never compromise, is the key for victory. Trying to figure out your name. Kathleen? Kathleen? Wrestling. If you have any question about never yield ground, do not allow anyone to control you. Because once you yield, you take a step back, they will just keep on marching forward. Okay? If you have any question about that, please check with her. Okay? All right? But anyway, what I'm trying to say is, compromise do not earn you peace. Compromise with the world, compromise with Satan, compromise with your desire will never earn you a life of victory, but only result in a life of regret. You know that for the Israelites that end up in the mountain, knowing the land belonged to them, knowing that their forefather, it's not even that far ago, when Joshua led the vast army, and anywhere they went, nobody dared to fight. Everybody submit under the superior power of the mighty army of Israel. That was just only a decade ago. But then you look around, now they are hiding in dens, in caves, in mountains, like rats. That's what happens when you start eating ground. Number 3. 韭菜怎么讲啊？Basil， OK， 是吗？韭菜盒子没有吃过吗？All right. Why do I mention that? Chai? Leek. Okay. Chai. Leek. Why do I mention that? Have anyone plant leeks at home? Okay. You know what happens is leek, it grows very fast, and it can grow in any even in very limited environment. It just grow. So what happens is you cut it, you grow. You cut it, you grow. Okay, that's leek. 所以韭菜就这样子一撮一撮的剪。They are very easily replenished. Why do I bring this up? Number 3, we see that in here, every time they sow, before harvest, the enemy come. The enemy, the Midianites, the Easterner, they come and they take away. They ruin the land. They ruin the land. They burn the land and they take away the harvest. Why do I mention that? Okay, because the Israelites were kept by the Midianites as sheep in the sheepfold. I let you grow your hair, wool. When I need you, when the wool is ready, I come and shear and take everything, I walk away. And when it grow back, I come, I sheared it again. This is what happened. They were used by the enemy as nothing but replenishment of resources. So sad. The enemy never gave them a chance to grow back or to grow strong again. This is what happened when you compromise and your life is controlled by your enemy. Every time when you say, this life, this is enough, I should no longer in sin, I will go, I will repent, I will start my cultivation, I want to be different. Satan came and shear you. Shear away your determination. Shear away your dream of living in the way of the Lord. Shear away your hope of salvation. If you allow enemy to control you, this is what happened. See, every time, you know that without food, a country can never be strong. Right? If you cannot even find enough food, how can you ever gather an army to be trained and ready to defend your country? So, the Midianites know very well. Take the resource away from you. You will always be subject to our slavery. So, look into your life. How many times that Satan continuously to go back to your life and shear all those determination away from you. Shear away all your dream of being different to live a life for the Lord. Okay? If you live in the cave, in the den, if you are controlled by the enemy in your life, your effort to be different, your fighting to regain control of your life will always end with disappointment. Okay? So, this is the third problem that they are having. All right? But good thing, out of all this, in their misery, they cry to God. You know what? Under this kind of policy, this is a very wise policy by Midianites. Midianites can basically destroy them. But instead of destroying them, Midianites kill them softly. Kill them slowly, kill them softly. And use them as the free labor to do all the planning. So you know that you are the Israelites. You want to have some food for your family. You want to do something about your country. So you have to sow the land anyway. You have to do something about it anyway. But when you are finally getting something, the Midianites came and take everything away. You are actually enriching your enemy. But you have no way out. No way out. Okay? So this is called desperation. Once you allow the enemy to take control of your life, I don't know what you are controlled by. Okay? Maybe nothing, maybe something. If you are controlled by the desire of the world, this is what happened. If you are controlled by video games, this is what happened. If you are controlled by the influence of your friends, companion friends, or the social media, whatever, peer pressure, if you are always subject under the control or the impact of people around you, the influence of the world. This is what happened. Okay? So at their desperation, they cry to the Lord, and in fact, the Lord responded to them. Let's go back to Judges chapter 6. Judges chapter 6, verse 9. Verse 9. Verse 9, and I deliver you out of the hand of the Egyptians and out of the hand of all who oppressed you, and drive them out before you and gave you their land. Also I said to you, I am the Lord your God. Do not fear the gods of the Amorites, in whose land you dwell, but you have not obeyed my voice. Okay? If you have the chance to read about the book of Deuteronomy, okay, the final words of Moses before he died. In the book of Deuteronomy, before Moses died, he made a great proclamation to the Israelites. And he said to the Israelites, yes, indeed, this is a beautiful promised land that the Lord promised to your forefather. The land flows with milk and honey. You shall inhabit the land. You shall prosper in the land. You shall grow strong in this land if you listen to him. But if you do not, that in this beautiful land you shall perish quickly. Okay? That was the prophecy. That was a prophecy made by Moses to the future of the Israelites. You might think, or we always think that, hey, the Lord gave me a promise. The promise is a blessing. The blessing means that whatever I do, I shall always come out good. No, not necessarily. The promised land, the land flowed with milk and honey. The promised land of blessing could turn into a land of death if you don't know what you are doing. Same thing with the ark. When God said to Noah to build an ark, what was the intention? The ark is for deliverance. It's to save them. Do you know that he could die in the ark too? In Genesis, God said to Noah, you go and prepare food for yourself and for your family, and also for the animal. If Noah figured, hey, I'm on the ark, I'm in the ark, this is a great blessing, a plan of the Lord, I finished. If Noah figured that as long as he got the ark, everything will be fine. You know what? He will enter into the ark of deliverance, but he will die inside this ark of deliverance if he did not prepare the food. For you, you are in TJC. If you do not stop talking and chat among yourself and passing papers, you will die very soon after the class. When I get my hand on now. Now, what I'm trying to say is, you are in TJC. You are in TJC. Do not feel, do not convince yourself that as long as I am in TJC, I am A-OK. Oh, I got the Holy Spirit already. I was baptized since young. Oh, you know what? My father is this. My mother is that. I'm the 5th generation in TJC. You know what? Don't allow all those facts confuse you or deceive you. If you do not prepare yourself with the spiritual food, which is what you are doing in here, if you do not prepare yourself ready for battle, you will die on the battlefield. If you do not prepare food, the spiritual food, the words of the Lord, you will starve to death in the ark of covenant. In the ark of Noah. You will. You would. Right? So, enter into TJC is only the beginning of the journey of salvation. It's not the end of it. Okay? So, enter into the land of Canaan, gaining this beautiful land is not the end of their journey, but it's the beginning of their establishment. All right. Now, as we know that they are fully subject to the power of the enemy, we want to change our focus to Gideon. Let's go back to chapter 6. Judges chapter 6, verse 11. Now, let's get to our main character, Gideon. In verse 11, now the angel of the Lord came and sat under the terebinth tree, which was in which belonged to Joash, while his son Gideon threshed wheat in the wine press in order to hide it from the Midianite. Verse 12, and the angel of the Lord appeared to him and said to him, the Lord is with you, you mighty man of valor. Okay? So, now the main character appeared in the main stage. Okay? Now, Gideon appeared. And the first scene, this is like looking at a play, looking at a movie. So the first scene that Gideon appeared, he was hiding. Okay? He was hiding, and he was threshing. Okay? Threshing. He was threshing the wheat. Okay? So this is the first thing that we see as he appeared. And then he was called the mighty man. Huh? American boys, you are always brainwashed by Marvel that superheroes never show up like this. Okay? Hiding. How can superhero hide? Okay? Doing this kind of threshing weeds? Come on. Do something different, something upscale, something that change the environment or change the generation. Something mighty, something great. That's our that's our impression about mighty men. However, this mighty man appeared to be very different than our traditional concept of the superhero. He was hiding, but at the same time, hiding but threshing the weeds. This is very important. This is why God chose him. This is why God chose him. Okay? It is very important that the whole country was subject under the enemy power, but Gideon, he was hiding but threshing the weeds, which means that he never gave up. Still looking for opportunity. So, bravery, that's why he was called the mighty man. He was very brave, knowing that the situation is so bad. The chance for him to, after all this labor, the chance for him to, after all this labor, and able to keep the harvest of his hard labor is unknown. But he did not allow the environment to defeat him. He did not allow the difficult reality to overrun him. Continue. Survival. Okay. This is the spirit of the mighty man. Gideon did not pick up the sword and kill any Midianites that he see. He killed one, he killed two, he killed three, and then he get killed. The end of story. Wow, mighty superhero. Useless. The true mighty man might not be what you have in mind. The true mighty man might be doing something that you look down upon. But he continued and never gave up. Always looking for hope. Always looking for opportunity. Always try to fulfill any possible ways to keep the survival of the Israelites. Okay? This is the first thing that we learn about him. When environment is bad, when the time is evil, when many people gave up and surrendered and figured out what's the point? Doesn't matter how I plan, the Midianites will take it away anyway. Why bother? I give up, I surrender. Okay? But Gideon never surrendered. Never surrendered. Okay? This is the first thing that we see about him. Second, let's come back to chapter 6 now. Chapter 6, verse 12. The Lord is with you, you mighty men. In verse 13, Gideon said to him, O my Lord, if the Lord is with us, why then has all this happened to us? Okay? Here is another thing that we need to pay attention. It's a conversation between Gideon and angel. In here, there are three things that were mentioned. Number one is why. Why? Number two, let's turn to chapter 6, verse 15. Let's do 14 and 15. Then the Lord turned to him and said, Go in this might of yours, and you shall save Israel from the hand of Midianite. Have I not sent you? Verse 15. So he said to him, O my Lord, how can I save Israel? Indeed, my clan is the weakest in Manasseh, and I am the least in my father's house. Okay? Number two, who? Who am I? Okay? Why this happened? Okay? And number three, continue. Let's go back to chapter 6, verse 17. Then he said to him, If now I have found favor in your sight, and show me a sign that you are, that it is you who talk with me, do not depart from here, I pray, until I come to you and bring out my offering and set it before you. And he said, I will wait until you come back. Do not depart from me. Okay? So in here, in the conversation of Gideon with the messenger of the Lord, that there are three key conversation content that need to be noted by you and I. When the messenger say to him, that mighty man of the Lord is with you. And he said, if the Lord is with us, why did all this happen to the people of the Lord? This is called examination. Servitude without examination is like building a house without any foundation. You are serving the Lord, you are doing holy work, you are running here, you are doing that. But if you never have a very clear self-assessment, a self-examination, at the end, you might accumulate a lot of result of your work, but unable to enter into heavenly kingdom. If you cannot enter into heavenly kingdom, like a house without foundation, what's the use of it? Right? If you do not ask why things happen, if the Lord is with me, if the Lord is with the Israelites, where is the problem? What was the problem? We are the chosen one. Why are we live in such a demise? If you never examine and ask the question, I am the children of the Lord, why my life is like this? I have the Holy Spirit. Why my prayer is so weak and feels so distant from God? You know that if you do not ask why, you just, like a headless chicken, you just say, oh, okay, I'm just here in the church, I'm here in the SSC, I'm here, I'm running around, I'm doing what I'm told to. But you never really connect. You never really examine what is your connection with God. You might do a lot, but you might not go anywhere. Okay? So we will continue in the afternoon to continue with the following contents. Okay? Let's all pray in silence. Amen.